What is up, Honey Badger Nation? This is John Kitchens, and welcome to of Expert Mentors Live. I am super excited for today's episode as we have Mr. Ryan Gibbons on with us. And man, we're going to talk about fostering community through Facebook groups and social media. Ryan, what's up?
What's up, John? Thank you so much. I am super excited to be here. Just happy to have the invite, and we're looking forward to a nice conversation.
Yeah, man, me too. I'm super pumped for what we're going to dive into. But before we do that, man, give everybody listening in a little background, a little story about yourself.
So I live in Bergen County, New Jersey, which is New York City suburbs. So we're just over the George Washington Bridge into the city. So we're in, an area where a lot of people are commuting into the city. I'm the co-founder with my mom of North Jersey Partners, brokered by EXP. I followed her into the business. So I'm a second generation realtor. Couldn't be more excited about that. Been in the business about 9 years, and I work, in my town, but we work in our basic county, over the last 9 years, and residential. And it's been a ride. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, and definitely a lot of interesting navigating the the last 12 months for sure. Especially where you're at, a little more tightened. The screws are tightened a little bit more than where we're at.
I mean, where we are, unfortunately, with the bulk of COVID, we got hit really hard. Our area was, kind of ground zero for a lot of it. So, we were in the lockdowns and all that, but, our market has changed a lot. We have a lot of people that are, like I said, are coming from the city that are commuting into Manhattan every day. And we have a lot of people now that were either living in a place like Manhattan or Hoboken or Jersey City that now are looking for the suburbs. They're tired of being in that small apartment, and they don't need to be 5 minutes commute into the city. So now they're starting to really come out into our area. And, we always had commuters, but now it's bananas. The last, 6-8 months, there's just been so many people migrating out of the city and, wanting to get, the picket fence, the backyard, which is what we have here. So it's been an interesting market, and it's been definitely a shift. Definitely a shift, and everything. It's been a shift. So but we're doing all right with it. Yeah,
and it the flow has got to be the businesses and corporations not learning how to be virtual and just kind of going into that virtual work environment.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that with so many of my friends in the area that were commuting into the city, but they don't have to go anymore. They don't have to be there. They don't need to be in the office 5 days a week. They might go in once every couple of weeks, and they're doing it virtual, which is, I think a lot of people are happy with. They're able to not spend an hour on a train going back and forth to the city and missing the softball game, and the dance recital. Now they're getting that couple hours back of their life. And, it makes sense. They just got to be home with their kids, which, hopefully they like their kids, but
it's an adjustment too, right?
It's an adjustment. Yeah. I mean, I've got my 9-year-old daughter upstairs, in school right now.
Yeah.
You make do, but it's, a lot of people are doing the virtual, they don't need to be there anymore. And, time will tell if that really sticks, or if people start going back into the city more and, using that retail space or the commercial space in the city. We'll see.
Let's kind of dive in a little bit and really talk about, the impact in the community and kind of when you started to really hone in on building this community network, within Facebook and social media. When did you guys kind of kick all of that off, and what, too, I guess kind of what sparked it?
So I officially started This is River Edge, which is my community Facebook group. Officially started it in December of 2019. But it really didn't kick off for a little while after that. So it kind of spurred, honestly, on the wake of another Facebook group. We had another Facebook group that got a little bit too political, got just a little too heavy-handed with different things. And, people weren't happy with it. They weren't getting their voices heard in it. So I jumped, I saw an opportunity, that group wasn't doing as well. And I said, all right, I'm going to take this opportunity. I always wanted to have something. So I jumped. And a lot of people jumped ship pretty quick. So this was all, I don't exactly know when that was, but this was all pre-pandemic. So we're probably talking, actually, I'm sorry. I started the group in December of 18. So it really started to really pick off in December of 19 and like right before the pandemic. And, I saw that opportunity. I wanted to kind of be that community person. I grew up in this town. So River Edge, New Jersey is my hometown. It's where I grew up and it's where I live now. So, I came back to raise my daughter here and I always just wanted to be, an information source. And I saw that opportunity. So I jumped on it very, very quickly. We gained a lot of steam. And one of the main things that I did was just invite everyone that I knew in town. And, anyone that I knew on Facebook, I got them into the group as fast as possible and, open it up to people that I knew that I grew up with that now live, in New York City or whatever. Try to get that base very quickly and started to share as much information as I could about town very quickly, so it became that, okay, this is a good spot. I created rules that were fair and I stick to them. And I think that was part of the problem with the other group, that they were, some of the rules were a little heavy handed and it wasn't really a good fostering of conversation.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to create here. I want people to talk about things, and sometimes it gets a little heated and sometimes I regret the decision, we get into that a little bit. But, I try to be very consistent with what, I allow up front about it, and have rules that kind of, cover the ground rules, what's allowed and what's not.
So, what's the criteria to get into that community group? You got to live in the area. Is that kind of the intent?
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm not looking to add 1 million people, this is a town of 11,000 people. So you either live in town or you lived in town, you grew up in town, or you were here for a long period of time, or if you own a business that is physically in the town.
Gotcha.
So I will on occasion allow some people to come in if they're looking, if they're seriously looking to buy a house in town and they want to, learn a little bit more about it. But I created other channels for that as well. So I don't, I'm not looking for this to be 1 million people. I'm just looking for this to be people that live in our town and, talk about our town. I'm not interested in, in other areas.
So when you kicked that off, what was, being an information source, but was there a specific goal or really an intent of that group that you had from the jump?
Not really. It just, it was just to be a fostering of good conversation, and the online platform for our team, for our town. I have since evolved that vision, and taken it into, Facebook page and Instagram page and a website and, but, one of my inspirations for kind of the entire community is Andrew Gaydosh. For anyone who's, not familiar with him, he runs his lake community pretty much.
Yeah.
He's built out the website. He's got the Facebook groups. He does events, like he does the whole 9 yards, and I had met him at the Cincinnati event 3 years ago, whenever we had that.
Yep.
And saw him as an inspiration of really using community, of building a community and becoming that guy, when you think of, and I can't think of the name of his community. I should.
Lockengrin.
So if you think of that and you're in that area, you think of Andrew, and I kind of wanted that to be me, I love it. So when you have a question about something, and I have people all the time reach out, hey, I know you're the guy that's going to answer this question, and I'll get texts and Facebook messages. So that's what I wanted it to be for, personally, but I want it to be a one-stop shop, so the one place you go, if you need to learn about, softball tryouts and, the snowstorm and recycling and, like all the stuff that you need to know, I wanted this to be the place.
And so is that still the goal, or is there a bigger vision that you kind of see with this, moving forward?
Well, obviously, I like to get business out of it, but yep. I think I've kind of hit the things that I want to build out of it. Besides events, which, in our area, we're very much still locked down. We can't have groups of 25 or more outdoors. We can't do indoor events. So, we're very limited in what we can do, but I'd like to be doing more of those kinds of things, or even support those kinds of things. Like we have a River Edge Day, it's just the local businesses come out, small events for the kids, like support those kinds of things. But we can't really make that step. We just can't do events at all in our community. until we've taken or whatever steps need to be taken. But, like I said, my end goal, with the online stuff was building a website and having that as all of the information on town, on businesses, on youth programs, on the schools, on finding houses, so I've built that out. And this is riveredge.com. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, it's still a work in progress. We still have a lot to build out, but again, a one-stop shop, so if you want to find out anything about the town, from finding your next house to, signing up for basketball, I wanted to have that all in one place.
How has, sorry, go ahead.
No, and that's, for the most part coming to fruition. There's still a lot of work, but, it's a site that gets a lot of traffic and it's becoming a good source for people.
How is, how is it since, the launch of it and getting it going, how has it help impact business for you personally?
Well, certainly I'm getting more, listings and business in town from it, so I'm getting calls that, I didn't know who to go to. And I see you all the time on Facebook, and some people call it the Facebook guy, like the internet guy, like I'm becoming that guy. And so for those people that don't have the agent, that don't have that connection with their person from when they sold their house or when they bought their house, they're coming to me, because I don't sit in the group and, hey, I'm a realtor. That's the one thing I don't do. It's obviously on my profile. I don't hide it other places, but I'm not on there, saying, hey, EXP, you got to work with me. I do have other ways of getting that across to people, but I'm not jumping up and down about it because I don't want it to be about that. I don't want the group to think that, he's doing this for real estate and, he just wants to get business, which isn't true, which is not the case. But it is certainly helping. It's been, a year of real work, but I am getting calls and I am getting business from it. So it's certainly helping in that regard. It
is a longer term strategy, but it's building trust. And, Andrew preaches that all the time. It's like, hey, this is a long game. If you, going this route and building this out, but you're building relationships and, and you're building that trust, which is, for the longevity of it. And I think that's the key is understanding, patience with it, staying consistent, and over time, it's gonna bear the fruit of the effort. And, it's everything, Andrew preaches about, becoming, that go-to authority, the neighborhood mayor, if you will.
Yeah.
And you're really just becoming, you're not the neighborhood, you're the community mayor. And,
and you're right. It is a long play. I mean, I've been putting in hours and hours and hours on this, for over a year, and it's like you said, it's that building that trust is that when they save me online, they trust what I'm putting out there because I'm honest, and I'm not starting arguments and I'm not, like pushing my agenda or anything. It's, I care about the community and I really do, and if you don't really know the community, you shouldn't even do this, but if you really do care about the community and you want to be a part of the community, then it's a great thing to do, and I think this group, however long they have Facebook, this group will continue to go, but it's a lot of work, and it's, there are times where, my wife is a kind of a new Facebook person, and she thinks I'm nuts half the time, for some of the stuff that I put up, because it is an open forum. We've all been in Facebook groups where there's conversations and arguments and name calling, and, like it can get heated, and especially like over the summer, there was social unrest, there was problems in our country, and some of it spilled into the group, and there were conversations and there were a few instances of racism in our town, with different events and different people doing, some things that they shouldn't be. And it created some heated arguments in the group. And, it gets tough, to run that, when you have people that are saying, well, this shouldn't be in here and you should be deleting this. But then if you delete it, you're a censor, so you're kind of caught in the middle. And, I've kind of become, the judge, the mediator, like the calming force.
So share, some do's and don'ts around that for people, because if they, have this or want this to be kind of a piece, I would think that there's some pretty strong do's and don'ts within the community.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a political person, period. You'll never know if I'm a Democrat or Republican. I don't put that stuff on social. So I try not to be polarizing, because I think if you're a big Republican or a big Democrat, you become polarizing, and that's my opinion. I know people don't always follow that, but I try to be very, middle ground overall, but in the group, and try not to be, so if you're running one of these groups, again, I would try to be that mediator more than, an argument continuer, or participant in these things. Because then, you can do all this goodwill and you can anger half of your town, and that could be it. It could be over. And I think that's kind of what happened to the other group. But the big do for me is being the person that shares the information. Don't just sit back and let people share that, like here we've had a lot of snowstorms. Okay. We've had feet of snow. There's still a couple feet of snow out of my lawn. You want to be the guy that shares schools are closed, that, get your cars off the street, like kinds of things like that. Like be the person that is that information source. And, when you do that, then you become that person, so I'm always, finding ways to share that information, always finding ways to, to give back. So like with the snow thing, I put together a list of kids that want to shovel, so fill out this Google form. We'll put you on the list. And, the adults that can't or don't want to shovel, pay some kid $30, kid's making money, and you're not outside breaking your back.
Yeah,
so like
you're helping the kids out, man, that are hustling.
Yeah, and you got a lot of great feedback from it. People are very happy with it. And, we've had 3 or 4 big storms this year, and people continue to use it. So you just want to find, be that information source, be the person that's always sharing things, but try to keep conversations civil, and my general rule with like the conversations going too far is, no name calling, no language, you drop an F-bomb, I'm going to ask you to take it, amend your language, keep it civil. If you want to debate, what happened over the summer, social justice, great, go for it. But you're not going to call this person an idiot. You're not going to call him a racist. like that stuff. It's just,
yeah.
It's like what your mother told you, if you don't have something nice to say to someone, don't say it, so keep the conversation civil. And that was a lot of my struggle over the summer, of trying to keep it civil by not looking either too heavy handed or being a censor.
Sure. It's that balance, that delicate balance.
Yeah. And, hopefully, that summer is past us, and we can, have more conversations about the lost dog. But it's, it's tough, and it's tempting to just, get too involved in the conversation. You need to let people have their opinions. You need to let people have their conversations, because then it's an actual place for conversation.
Right.
And that's really the goal of it.
Yeah. Resource and conversation. I like that. Talk about some of you guys have done some pretty cool stuff, that, within the community, coats and raising money for first responders. Kind of share some of the highlights. I think it's worth, letting people know, if you're really wanting to have an impact in your community, these are some of the things that you can do, outside of just being an information source. Oh, I lost you.
Yeah, sorry. Phone call.
No worries.
That's what happens when you use your iPhone.
I know.
I thought I had it on not getting any calls. So yeah, so we have done some great stuff. And I have to give a lot of Alexia, who was very instrumental in doing these 2 things that we'll mention. But during this pandemic, like I said earlier, we were very hard hit. We had a lot of people that were unfortunately getting sick. We had a lot of hospital workers that were working hours and hours and hours and hours, to fight this thing. So an idea was proposed to me by another member of the group to put together signs, thanking our first responders. So they're the typical, lawn signs that you get, that we use for open houses, or that you have, for your schools or whatever. And, it was just supporting our local first responders. So it was River Edge Strong, thank you, healthcare workers is what it basically was. And we had a local printer that lived in town that did them, for a pretty good cost. And we sold them. We took every penny profit and we gave it to our ambulance corps. And, we were able to, we thought about a couple different things and actually we gave some to the local hospitals as well. We're thinking about different things that we could do it for, but, very simply, we have these volunteers that work in our community every day, on our ambulance corps. We gave that money to them and we sold hundreds of signs, we did that in probably April and May, and I still see them all over town, and it was kind of a joke with my daughter, every time we went out, all right, how many are we going to see? I got one. She would sit there and point out all the signs, but it was, and we delivered all the signs. So Christine and I, we drove around the town. We put these signs in people's lawns, and everyone was just so grateful. It was like a pride moment to have one of these signs in their lawn. And when we ran out, some people were mad that they didn't get them. So it was really just like a real highlight to be able to share that with our community, to give back to our ambulance corps, to give back to the local hospitals, and thank those people, which was a really, really cool experience, and to be able to share it with my daughter, she was hopping out of the car and putting these things in the lawn. It was pretty cool. So that was the big fundraiser that we did. And then another one that we've done for a couple of years now is a coat drive. So Jersey Cares is a New Jersey nonprofit, and they get coats for New Jerseyans, for people in the area that need coats. Gets very cold here in the winter. And we were able to raise, about 200 or 300 coats from our community. And we just set up, before we would set up in the library. This year we couldn't be inside, so we just set up in a parking lot. And, people came and dropped off their coats in droves. We promoted it through the group. We got it out there as best we could. We had, hundreds of coats that we were able to donate to this worthy cause. And I think they collect over the time, they collect a few thousand coats every year, even tens of thousands of coats every year, to give back to our communities. So it's pretty cool to be able to use that and actually help people.
Yeah, that was our thing. And, I'm really, proud to say Stace and Reedy are still doing it to this day. And we did, it was Coats for Kids, and we started it back in 2005. And so they're still doing it to this day. And they raise, they've taken it to another level. We would just raise a little bit for one school. They've expanded to where they're doing it for the whole school district. And, coats, hats, gloves, just they get the media behind it, and they've done it right. And so, it's amazing. When I was still there, we would take the coats to the school and being able to give them to the kids. They have obviously not able to do it, last year or this year that way, but they were still able to provide the coats, and just being able to see the kids' reaction. I mean, it's like, you'll always do it if you start it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the stuff that we should be doing just as good humans, just giving back to our communities, any way we can. And, but again, I give a lot of credit to Christine Alexiou, who was, very instrumental in getting that together. And she's kind of we come up with the idea and she runs and gets it done.
That's it. You got to have that execution.
We always need someone like that. But she did a great job, and it's, we're always just looking for ways, what can we do to give back to the community? Whether it be something like that or helping our businesses, anything we could do.
And so anything, helping some of the small businesses over the past year, what are you guys doing there to kind of showcase and help them out as much as you can?
So one of the things that we started doing is business spotlights. So, we're not a big town. We don't have a million businesses, but we wanted to get back to those communities. So we've done 2 so far. We did our local diner. So New Jersey is known for our diners. Every town has one. And we did the florist. And what we did them slightly differently for each one. But the diner, sat down with the owner. This diner's been in our community for 60, 70 years. So sat down with the owner. We just talked about, what the business is all about, what they offer, a little bit of the history of the place, kind of learned some stuff that you didn't know. And then we put that out on YouTube, and we got a couple of gift cards from him. So he gave us some gift cards, put that on Facebook, on YouTube, if you comment and like it, or actually what we did for them, what's your favorite dish from the diner? And, someone who commented got a couple of $25 gift cards. And, once that was done, he called me up. He said, I want to do this again. Like, I'll give you $100 worth of gift cards. Like, just
do it again.
Away. Because he saw, an uptick in his business, and he saw people and, obviously, it's when you start thinking about something, oh, you know what? I really do like the cheeseburger at the diner. Let's go there tonight, and it kind of got people thinking about it a little bit more. And then we did something similar with the florist. The florist, she didn't want to be on camera. She wasn't doing it. So just went through, highlighted the business, talked to her beforehand and, shared the history of the place. And again, we gave away a gift card and she saw an uptick in business. And another cool one that we did was we did a contest. And what's your favorite dish in town? So, we've got some delis, we've got some, a couple of restaurants. And we had hundreds of people commenting. It was crazy how many people were commenting. And what we did was I was going to give a gift card away to the restaurant that had the most votes. So the best dish as voted by the town. I would give a gift card away to that, and it ended up being a deli. So this was pretty cool. So I go in to buy the gift card. At the end of it, it's Dante's Deli, which is a really nice Italian deli in town. And I went in there, and I said, I want to get a gift card. I'm giving it away in the Facebook group. And he said, man, it's like, I've had more orders for an Italian combo in the last 2 weeks, and I didn't know what was going on. And that was the number one item. So, people were like, oh my gosh, the Italian hoagie at Dante's. I got to go. And he said he sold like 3 times more than he usually does.
That's awesome.
And he didn't even know. They're not even in the Facebook group, and he's just getting order after order after order. So, just little things like that, a $25 gift card to a deli and a contest that gets people heated. No, you got to get the, the meatball sub from the, and it was great, and all 3 businesses said that they had a lot more business than they had, during that time. And, we put that out to our email list. It's on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and it goes everywhere. And, and it's really helped, so my only problem is that I haven't done enough of it. I got to get out and get some more businesses do it for it. But it's a very simple way of doing it. You can just do it with your iPhone and do a Facebook Live, or you can, add a little more production. But it really gets goodwill with those businesses, and it gets them more business.
Yeah, I love it. And, I know a lot of agents that really want to give back, help small business, do things in the community. They just don't know what to do. And I think those are some great examples. You could even do it without having, a Facebook group specific for your community, for your town. It's just great little things to be able to showcase and give back and do. Yeah. I know you'd kind of mentioned earlier that you kind of spread out into some of the other platforms, Page, Instagram. So like talk us through, kind of share, the goal and the intent behind that as you were expanding that out.
So the intent there is, like I said before, I'm selective in who can get in our group. So I don't want that discussion to be, too broad. So, but I also wanted to be able to offer to other people to learn about our town, because there are, people that are still moving in.
Sure. That
I want them to be able to find out. So I started an Instagram, which I'm really not great at. I don't use that as much, but I have the Facebook page that I use a little bit more. All that information I share there as well. So if there's school closures, if there's, registration for the softball league, I share that stuff there, and I do actually for the diner. I ate there last night, and just posted on there, what's your favorite dish from the diner? Took a picture of the place on my way out, and starting a conversation about the diner, and tag them in it. So, maybe they get a couple more chicken sandwiches sold,
That's a golden nugget right there. Yeah.
So just, sharing those little things that you would share in the group, not necessarily, you can start some conversations, but it's more to share with the people that are interested in our town, that I'm not going to let them in the group, but they can still find it. And, there I do put in some real estate stuff. So I do a market report every month. I'll do a video, this is what's happening in town. I will put that in there. I will share some other things in there that are business, because I see that as a little more of as a business platform than the group.
Right.
The group is fostering community and conversation. The page is information, but real estate is part of that information. Homes that sold in the town is still part of that information.
People in the community, they want to know, right? They want to know what their river edge home is worth, what's going on in the marketplace. We're seeing people coming in. Like, you want to be the one ringing that bell, letting them know. And, just keep in mind, everybody listening in, right? Like, so the example I like to give is that we live in Prosper, but I don't care about really what's going on in Prosper as much as I care about what's going on in Light Farms. So we live in a Light Farms community. I care more when that little dog whistle goes off, right? I'm like, Light Farms, what are you saying about real estate? And so then I think that's a great way to incorporate the market reports into the conversation, not necessarily in the group, but on the page and there, to be able to have that, because homeowners in there, they want to know. They want to know what's going on.
Yep. And, and a lot of people that are in the group like the page, so we've got like 800 or 900 people that like the page and follow that, so we're getting that following up. So yeah, absolutely. They want to know that stuff, and one of the other things that I did with the group is I don't allow realtors to come in and advertise their business. So just another, kind of pro tip there. The only thing that I'll allow realtors to do is post a listing that's in the town. So if you have a house listed for sale in River Edge, I'll allow you to post it. But you can't come in and say, your review and, I just sold and that kind of stuff. But the page is good for that stuff, being able to share that information that I don't find is appropriate for the group. And I use that for paid advertising as well. So, if I want to promote my business, I'll use the This is River Edge brand to do that.
That's perfect.
Because I built up that level of trust. So they see that brand, they trust it, so they'll watch that video or, look at the sold homes or, whatever it might be.
Oh, that's great. Do you do anything like on your personal page? Anything kind of cross-shared, to the page, but also to your personal page as well?
Yeah. So I'll share some stuff either way. So I'll certainly, because I still want to get more people in the group and I want to get that awareness out there. So yeah, I'll take some posts that I might have put on the page, and then share it to my personal page to kind of, show the two together.
Sure.
Because I do want to make that association. A lot of people might not realize that This is River Edge is me. So you want to make that correlation between the two. But yeah, I'll certainly share some stuff. I can't share outside of the group, but I'll share stuff from the page, to my personal, get that connection.
I thought, little Tammy Pack, pro tip is, with her personal page, she is intentional. She, always keeps it at 5,000, but she's intentional to two things. If they live in her town, right? She's always searching and looking for people that live in her town or from her town and sending invites. And then, she also real estate agents that are not at EXP. That's her two people. So I thought that was just a great little pro tip from her.
Yeah. And you want to be connected to as many people in that community as you can, and yeah, on the EXP side, certainly want, other agents, but yeah, you want to connect with as many people in town as you possibly can, draw them into the page, draw them into the group. I'm constantly scouring around looking for anyone who might live in town to befriend, and to add to the group, because it's building your audience. And yeah. For me, it's building a brand of This is River Edge, and you got t-shirts,
swag. I love it.
Yeah, you got to have a little swag, but just creating that brand, creating that awareness, just like you would with your real estate business. I want to build North Jersey Partners, as a brand, as a trusted, real estate team, but I want to build this as well, and if you go for that long play, it's certainly worthwhile.
What, so do you just make the shirts available, or do you guys just surprise and delight with the swag, or how do you use some merch?
I just got them, to be honest. The idea when we had events, we have This is we have River Edge Day and the 4th of July, the intent was to give that stuff away, and, that all went out the window. But just the other day I ran a contest I took an awful picture of, I'm sure you've seen something, a Penske truck backed into a house.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's destroyed the house. He's backed in the house. Caption it. Caption this. I put it on the page so it gets more audience. So now more people can find the page. So I put that on there, caption this. I got, a couple hundred comments, and I gave a t-shirt away. So I dropped the t-shirt off to some random guy. I thought he was the best one, so I picked him. But just had a little contest, and, give you the best caption and I'll give you a free t-shirt.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to continue to do stuff like that. When we are able to do events, I'm going to give away t-shirts. I was actually just looking online last night. So like when we do the 4th of July, we have a beer truck. So they bring up this big truck with the taps. Knights of Columbus, sells beer. So, get some, 12-ounce, 16-ounce cups. This is River Edge, North Jersey Partners on the other side, and give stuff like that away.
Just little stuff away like that.
Yeah. And it's subtle, this I brought, so we got the t-shirt. I didn't like this one. I got to get a new vendor, but it's got my logo on the back.
That's right.
So it's not like this is what you want, but I've still got a little bit of branding. It's got to be bigger. I need new shirts.
I love it. People love shirts, man. It's crazy.
People love shirts, and it's got their it's got their town on it. Matt Curcio told me about that years ago. He's like, you got to give away shirts like with your town name right across the front and your logo on the back.
Yeah.
He's like, it's the best advertising that you can do. So thanks, Matt.
He's been doing t-shirts. I got Curcio t-shirts in my closet.
I'm sure you do. I got to send you one of these so you can wear.
Yeah, I love it, man. Absolutely.
But it's something that they'll wear, and it was something that I heard from Gadosh as well. I think it was like seat cushions or something that was important to his community that he gives them out to everybody in town, so just stuff that they'll use, drink cups, Yetis, coffee mugs, stuff like that goes a long way.
That's so cool. And then you let it evolve now too. You've also website and everything set up as well, right? So it's all kind of consistent across many different platforms. Yeah.
It's the same everywhere. It's Facebook.com. This is River Edge. Instagram. This is River Edge. The website. This is River Edge. Just having that same kind of branding across all of it. And then it's just very easy to find and very easy to, go back and forth. Just to create that brand, create that awareness of, this is where you want to go to find stuff about the town.
Right. I love it. Have you, are you trying to get what are you doing? Are you doing anything with YouTube, trying to get these videos and the spotlights and showcases and stuff?
Yeah. So I have it on there. I don't have a dedicated channel for River Edge. I've got one more just for the county. So it's, living in Bergen County is the tagline there, but I have playlists. So I've gone around, and those 2 videos that I did for the florist and the diner are on there. But I've also gone to, the train station. So taking the train into the city is a big means of getting into the city here, transportation. So I've gone out to the train stations, and shown that. I've gone to the parks and shown different things. Did a thank you River Edge and kind of did some of the goofy things about our town. Like, we're a town of 11,000 people. We have 2 Dunkin' Donuts. We have 2 PNC banks. We've got like the biggest liquor store in the world, going around. It's like, yeah, we have, this really small town, and we have 2 PNC banks. Here they are, like goofy stuff and, just showing off the community.
Yeah.
And going down to they just redid the basketball courts. So go down and show them off, So I'm doing little videos like that as well.
That's awesome.
On YouTube, just to, again, educate people on the town, what's happening, and just little hidden gems and little, different things about our community.
That's so cool. We would always laugh, Lawton being small, but we had 2 super Walmarts.
Yeah. Like why? Why do you need that? And we have 2 7-Elevens too.
There you go.
But they must be doing business, Yeah. But
that's awesome.
Just highlighting different things, just finding ways of just showing off things that people would be interested in, and it's, if you know your community, you kind of figure out what those things are.
Give just kind of as we kind of wrap up here, give everybody, if they're really looking to jump in, and this is something that they want to kind of build. What are some hey, think about it this way and do it right things right order. What would you say?
I personally, I think the Facebook group is the way to start. Of building up that that community, and the biggest thing is just to do it, of just go ahead and just, put it out there. Don't be so concerned about having, all this information. You don't need, it's like starting a YouTube channel. You don't need 50 videos to start your YouTube channel. Start with one.
Right.
So start building the information. Think about what the stuff that you are going to be able to share. Follow all of the other social media in the area. So follow the police department, the Board of Education, the town, all that stuff that you can follow. So you get it first. And then just invite as many people as you can. Get as many people in there as you can. Foster conversation, but have rules that are fair and that are laid out, and stick to them. Just if you're not going to allow businesses, don't allow businesses. If you are going to allow businesses, what are they allowed to share? When are they allowed to share? Be specific on what you're going to allow, and then stick to your guns. But start it, just start small, continue to just always be the information source, always be supporting the community, and it'll grow. Again, like I said, if you really care about the community, it'll show, and people see it. They realize that, you're either full of it or you really do care.
Right. And,
just start there. I mean, I've got very lofty goals, and, when I talk to some people about it, they're like, whoa, that's too much work. I can't build a website. You don't need a website. You don't need any of the other stuff. Just, it's a long play, but it's really rewarding. And, just start small. Just
start small.
Get it going. Start small. If it's working for you, then you can start expanding. But just, start small. I think just start small and just do it is, I think, the big thing. Because I think a lot of people, myself included, would just sit there forever. And I needed that little spark of the other group dying for me to jump on it. I wish I had done it earlier. But just start small. Just do it. Don't think that you need all of the information on there to get it started. Get it out there and just continually always be looking for more info to share.
That's awesome. On the videos, just a quick question on the videos: produced, edited, or just raw, just straight up off the iPhone?
They're pretty much recorded on the iPhone, but I have gotten into some video production. So, I mean, they're not like, high end anything, they're not crazy, but I did edit them, so like with the florist, went through and got some B-roll and showed the floral arrangements and the gifts and things. But you can just, I've seen some that were great that is just sitting there like this, just talking about the business. So you don't need production. You don't need a, $1,000 camera. You can simply do a business interview at the pizzeria and just talk to the guy.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go crazy, but mine do have some sort of polish to them. But don't feel like you need to.
Right.
It's definitely not needed.
I would agree. Man, some of the best are just raw and just on the fly.
I think people appreciate those more,
Yeah.
It's just like, this is a dude with an iPhone, and he's out there doing it,
Yeah.
And most of my videos are done on my iPhone. It's, it's how I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, cool, man. Well, I greatly appreciate it. I'm sure, folks having questions, what best way for them to connect with you?
They can, they can DM me through the two social channels. I'm happy to chat with anybody. I guess I can give a phone number. If anybody wants to reach out, they can call or text. They can call. It's 201-446-8190. If you have questions, I'm happy to help. Just shoot me a text or call me. Or if you go to Facebook or Instagram @This is River Edge, that's me. Please feel free to follow and DM me there. I'll be happy to get back to anyone who has any questions.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate you. Amazing conversation, adding a ton of value, being a true expert mentor for all of the rock stars here in the Honey Badger Nation. For all of you guys listening in, make sure connect with Ryan, give him lots of love, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Got it, buddy.